This story is about a poor farmer who is looking for fortune that can change his life by mining gold in the soybean field that he is tenanting. Okay, let's get started.
A golden soybean field. It's always gloomy in a deep underground. The poor candle is slowly waning. Unlike at night, the candle becomes dimmer during the day. The small red clay tunnel in the ground is filthy like a grave. It's full of chilly silence, an unpleasant, earthy smell, and cold air. They are digging the field up with a pickaxe. Digging occasionally works, and then it rings with rustic sound of the pickaxe. While You-Jeong stops digging and wipes the sweat on his face with his sleeve. He's frustrated because there's no sign of a vein of gold yet. He takes a handful of earth and checks it out with his fingers closely. It's obvious that the dirt has changed over digging, but the problem is that the dirt is not the kind that has gold in it. He grabs his pickaxe again and begins to dig knelt over. Water permeates from the ground and wets his knees. Debris of dirt are dropping from the ceiling and flowing down his neck. Sometimes, larger fragments of dirt from the ceiling fall on his back and break into pieces. But he doesn't care about the falling pieces of dirt. There's no progress while he ruins the soybean field. He is pissed off. He spits on his palm and continues to dig with his pickaxe again. He hears the noise behind his back that Soo-jae is making when Soo-jae takes care of the dirt from the digging. He thinks that Soo-jae is not working hard enough considering that he hasn't finished removing the dirt yet. While You-Jeong turns around with rage and glares fiercely at him, without a word. Soo-jae just begins to carry the dirt with the frame on his back and climbs up the ladder. The wall is making cracking sound, and then some debris start to fall down. He was scared by the cracking sound yesterday, but he isn't today anymore. Rather, he's so frustrated that he wants to die by being buried with Soo-jae down there. While You-Jeong hates Soo-jae because he's ruining his soybean field due to Soo-jae's bragging. Actually, everything's messed up. He still has a rice field that he doesn't pick the weeds out of. The weeds are also growing tall on the bank of the rice field. His landlord's so angry that he warned You-Jeong that he might not hire him as his tenant next year. You-Jeong thinks that they have been digging the field more than 15 meters so far. But there's no sign of gold yet. He's not sure if they just keep going or turn the direction to the north. Mining is so strange to him because he doesn't have any experience. Soo-jae has been leading the work, and of course, he will continue to lead You-Jeong gold mining. But You-Jeong doesn't like the situation. Now, it's your turn to dig. You-Jeong tells Soo-jae. You-Jeong steps back with dusting his hands off. Soo-jae begins to dig after raking stones with a mine, as he was told. You-Jeong carries the remaining stones in a frame on his back using a stick to support himself. He climbs up a ladder. The moment when he tries to dump the stones into the pile of stones on the ground, a manager hired by the landlord approaches and talks to him on his way back from mountains. "You're still digging. Are you crazy, man?" You-Jeong is standing still without any response. He's just expecting the manager to cuss at. "Shit. I told you to stop. But why do you keep doing this?" He yells at him, poking You-Jeong's ass with a stick. "It's not a gold mine, but just a soybean field that I let you take care of, you idiot. You cannot find any gold here," he says with anger. The messed up soybean field is also his responsibility as a manager. So that freaks him out. "You stop and restore this field to its original state right now or you'll be taken to a prison," the manager says. He's so angry that he is stammering over the words. He has his shaking fists on his sides as if he's gonna throw them at You-Jeong at any moment. "I'm gonna stop today. While You-Jeong manages to say with his face turning red. While You-Jeong begs for his forgiveness, but the manager ignores him and goes back on his way. While You-Jeong is just looking at him going away. The holes in the soybean field are so sad and painful to look at. More piles of stones are being made all over in the field. They look like graves in the cemetery. Most of the soybeans are buried underneath the piles except a few of them, which are still standing straight. Seeing the soybean field with mess is as painful as having a dying son. He knows that he ruined his chance to be a tenant next year. Besides, he doesn't know how he'll pay for the rent for the soybean field this year. And he's also worried that he could be in jail for messing up the soybean field. When You-Jeong gets into the tunnel under the ground, he finds Soo-jae sit and stop working. Soo-jae is just smoking there. When do you think we can find the gold? You-Jeong asks. We're gonna find one soon, Soo-jae answers. Soon. You-Jeong is sneering. You-Jeong takes a handful of dirt from the ground of the tunnel and smashes Soo-jae on his head with the dirt. You bastard! You-Jeong yells at him. Soo-jae falls down with the sound. Ugh! But Soo-jae gets up right away. He grabs a pickaxe and goes at You-Jeong. However, You-Jeong is stronger than Soo-jae. Soo-jae is pushed back to the wall of the cave and falls down again. You-Jeong picks up and swings the pickaxe but misses Soo-jae when he turns his head. The pickaxe sinks into the wall. You-Jeong gnashes his teeth at the thought of Soo-jae because he thinks Soo-jae is taking advantage of him. You-Jeong was not originally interested in finding gold, so he doesn't have any experience. He was just a hard-working tenant, taking good care of his crop fields. He was expecting a good harvest from the soybean field this year. One day, Soo-jae came and talked to him when he was picking out weeds in the soybean field. Hey, take it easy. It's too hot to work. Take a break. Soo-jae's been hunting for gold for a long time. If you made a fortune, share it with me. You-Jeong said, joking around. Of course, I did. I did enjoy spending all that money, Soo-jae said. Soo-jae was drunk. They were spending time chatting at the edge of the soybean field, and then he said, Do you want to make a ton of money, too? You know what? There's gold under this field. What? You-Jeong says in surprise. Soo-jae says there's a gold mine on the other side of this mountain. It produces 70 LYNGs of gold per day with about 300 miners. It worth 7,000 won a day. According to the people, the vein of gold goes through the mountain and reaches your field here. If you and I work together, we're gonna find it within 10 days. And then we can expect 3 or 4 tons of gold a day. Soo-jae is sure that they can make 300,000 won with the gold they're gonna find under the soybean field, which is worth 10,000 cows. But You-Jeong takes Soo-jae's story with a grain of salt. Gold mining reminds You-Jeong of an old saying, running with a sharp knife in the mouth, meaning that it's too risky. If you fail, the price you got to pay is too much. Anyways, Soo-jae convinced You-Jeong into gold mining in the soybean field for the last 2 days. On the 3rd day, Soo-jae comes to You-Jeong's home with a bottle of actually alcohol. He really wants to talk You-Jeong into gold mining in the soybean field. You-Jeong and his wife are having dinner. Before getting to the point, Soo-jae talks about other things like the food they're eating now or You-Jeong who should eat enough food to be well prepared for his work. Soo-jae also says that You-Jeong needs to work out a way to get out of the poverty. Do you guys mind drinking this makgeolli with me? Soo-jae asks the couple. They start to talk about gold mining, drinking actually together. They're having a good time, and the couple begin to change their thoughts about gold mining over time. Young-suk only gets paid several bags of soybeans per year by the owner. That's not enough. But gold can change their lives. So, it's worth trying. The gold they can get in a day could be worth more than his yearly pay as a tenant. While You-Jeong is under the pressure of a 7-1 debt. He hasn't paid the workers he hired last spring and hasn't paid for the fertilizers that he bought yet. He takes it as an all-or-nothing situation. Let's do it tomorrow. Everything's gonna be okay if we find gold, Soo-jae says to him. Okay, let's do it. I have nothing to lose. Young-suk accepts his suggestion. Actually, his wife, who is eating soup behind him, pushed Young-jae to agree by poking him with her finger. His wife knows that gold's gonna give them a way better chance to get over their poverty than tenanting does. Plus, she's worried that the gold miners will take the crop fields from them for gold mining soon. Then there'll be nothing left for them to live off. Many farmhands have left their farms in order to work for gold mines these days. Some others gave up farming and joined panning in the brook or river. So, many farms are suffering from the lack of workers nowadays. While Young-jae's wife never expected gold mining in the soybean field before, she gets happy with just imagining eating a pollock that she's always wanted to eat. She's been jealous for Miss Yang Gin-daek, one of her neighbors, who shows off her white rubber shoes that her husband bought for her with the money that he made from gold mining. She's looking forward to a time when Young-jae becomes rich enough to buy her a pair of white rubber shoes and foundation for makeup. She'll look better if she wears foundation on her face. Yeah, let's do that. I like his idea. She nudges Young-jae. They got together in the soybean field as soon as the sun rose. Soo-jae started to move around searching for the vein of gold and tried to give Young-jae and his wife as many explanations as possible. After spending a time hunting for the vein of gold, Soo-jae went to the corner of the field, which faces mountains. He told the couple that this is the part of the field where they're gonna start digging because the vein of gold usually goes around mountains. Although Young-jae didn't understand Soo-jae's explanation, he trusted Soo-jae because Soo-jae is known for finding veins of gold. Young-jae began to dig the ground there. Young-jae felt so bad when he messed up his soybean field by digging that he tried to shake off the dirt from lying soybeans at times in the middle of digging. What are you doing, man? Leave them alone. You just stay focused on digging, Soo-jae complained. Yeah, I'm just taking a break for a minute. Young-jae made an excuse. Young-jae thought Soo-jae was right because finding gold was much more important than those soybeans. With gold, he can turn the soybean field into a rice field, which is more useful to him. So, he tried not to worry about the soybeans when he shoveled the dirt from digging onto them. Hey, you dumbass. That's not a gold mine. That's a soybean field.